Hi, I'm Cheryl, and welcome to my podcast. Today, let us talk about herd mentality and friendship. I'll discuss three parts of this topic, which are the definition of herd mentality, the causes, and the effects. The guests for the interview will be Yana from America and Estelle from China. Do you feel like people around you are similar to you, or do you subconsciously make friends with people who look the same? Have you ever thought about what makes you get along with similar people? Today, let's discuss the herd mentality. Just don't be scared about that unfamiliar term. Let's start with a story that happened to me. Since I'm a transfer student from another country, everything in America seems so different. The most difficult thing is that this country has various kinds of people. People come from different areas around the world and gather here. There was one thing that made me really confused. I've noticed that different cultures tend to stick together. For example, white people always hang out with white people, black people always stay with other black people, and Asian people are also with Asian ones all the time. I could not stop thinking about why people are acting like that. I really wanted to dig out something, so I opened Google. I noticed the term herd mentality. According to Overworld and his team's work, How Herd Mentality Explains Our Behavior, which was published on Verywell Mind in May 2023, herd mentality occurs when individuals adopt their beliefs, behaviors, or attitudes of the majority in a group, often at the expense of their own judgment or individuality. So one question appeared in my head so naturally. How does herd mentality affect our friendships and lives? There's a very interesting phenomenon that happens on sheep called herd behavior, which means sheep act the same way as others, without centralized instruction. Maybe shepherds know that better than most of the scholars. It seems that people also have the same mentality, which is known as herd mentality. Scholars can definitely beat the shepherds on this. Patterns of cross-racial friendship can be a very interesting point of entry of that phenomenon. Plumbers and his team published their work in the scholar journal Cultural Diversity and Ethnic Majority Psychology in 2016. According to their research, cross-racial friendship is significantly influenced by different individual characteristics. It is also affected by cultural background, social, and political context. Back to our college, I just want to narrow this big result and listen to what my friends say about other people that they choose to be friends with. Here I interviewed two amazing friends of mine. One of them is also a transfer student from China, and the other one is a new friend I met here who is local. Hi Yana, hi Estelle. There are some questions for you guys. What do most of your friends look like? Do they look similar to you or act like you?
I think most of my friends do look similar to me because I think people with a similar style and personality will kind of gravitate towards each other.
Most of my friends are quiet and reserved, so I think the reason we can become good friends is because we are similar.
So far so good. We have already discovered both scholars' opinions about cross-racial friendship and my friends' little ideas about college friendship. We can make a brief conclusion that there must be some mental reasons that make people choose similar ones as their friends. And it refers to our old friend, herd mentality, which is about the judgment of behavior when individuals are in a specific group. Can't wait to know more about this interesting thing, right? Let's demystify it here. Okay, let's welcome again to my two friends. Here's another question for you. What makes you tend to get along with these friends that are similar to you?
Probably just talking about like our hobbies and interests first of all, and then getting closer and getting to know each other.
Yes.
As I mentioned before, we are similar, so we have we have the same thinking pattern and so on.
Okay.
So we don't fight over disagreements, and I think it is important to a healthy relationship.
Here, I concluded some reasons that people always be with someone who looks like them. First, similar people might have more common topics to talk about. People in the same area may have the same cultural background and religious beliefs. For example, if you come from India, maybe you want to find a friend who also believes in Buddhism. Or, if you come from Korea, you want to have a friend who is also a fan of K-pop. That's so natural and actually makes sense in a close relationship. Another reason is, people who look similar always come from the same country. That means they can speak their mother language with someone from their home country. As myself, talking with my Chinese friends is always easier than using English to talk. I don't have to think about grammar or vocabulary. You can also easily catch other people's feelings. When we talk about Chinese food like dumplings and Beijing duck, we can easily understand each other. This happened more often among transfer students. Being with someone that is similar to you seems easy and interesting. However, according to Overwar and his team's work, which was published in 2023, as humans, our brains tend to make mental shortcuts that sometimes cause us to depend on the views and behaviors of others instead of thinking critically. That just makes me think that if we get along with similar people from the same culture for our whole life, will we confine ourselves to an information cocoon? The definition of information cocoon was given in a book called Infotopia: How Many Minds Produce Knowledge. It's written by Sunstein in 2006. According to Sunstein, information cocoons create an environment in which people only encounter voices that express opinions and ideas similar to their own. Such an environment in which similar content is repeated and reinforced is known as echo chamber. Imagine a picture. There's a frog at the bottom of a well. It spends all its life there. So, it will recognize that the small round sky above the well is the whole sky. Scary, right? Have you ever thought about this situation also happening in humanity if we confine ourselves into an information cocoon? If you follow the herd mentality too much, you will find yourself in a well like the frog. You will find you confine yourself into an information cocoon. Here I'm going to analyze some bad effects of herd mentality. According to Cooder's Scholar article, which was published in 2021, as a teen, you are more likely to sway by the herd. Teens are more susceptible to peer pressure because their character is still developing. Here, I have two more interesting questions for my friends. So the next question, do you think your friends convinced you into an information cocoon?
I think maybe, because since you gravitate towards people who are similar to you, I feel like you might have like similar opinions on things, so you just hear like the same information.
Here's the last question. Do you feel sometimes you need to sacrifice some opinions or choices in order to keep the friendship?
Sometimes also no, because if you're really similar to that person in terms of your opinion, then you kind of just agree on most things.
After analyzing, I conclude some bad effects of herd mentality. First, you may always receive the same information from other people. That is, since your friends are the same as you will always just reach a very little part of the world and stare at a very little sky like the frog. Second, maybe you will have to make the same decision and sacrifice some preferred choices to get into the group. More seriously, if you become part of a group that has little respect for others, bullying non-members, and participates in negative behaviors, you have to follow their behaviors and do the things that are really bad. As a transfer student, When I first came to this distant university, I felt everything was very unfamiliar and uneasy. However, I pushed myself to make new friends. One afternoon, I invited Yana to sit next to me in a coffee shop and immediately became good friends with her. However, just being brave is sometimes not that enough. Here's a very interesting experiment that might give you some inspiration on choosing a new friend. This psychological experiment was initiated by participants in 2017. It separates participants into 3 groups that each contains 10, 5, or only 1 person. It asks how long it takes for the first participant to give a hand to another person who seems to have trouble pitching a tent. The result shows that the more participants a group has, the longer time it takes to offer help. When we associate this result with college friendship, one important hint to make a new friend is to choose a person that seems alone. That kind of person will have a higher probability to let you become a close friend with them, since they will show higher empathy for other people. Today, we talk about what is herd mentality, what causes that, and how we can use or avoid it in real life. I appreciate the time you spent with me. Now, it's time for you to build new friendships and enjoy your wonderful college life.